The breaking of the Ramadan fast is a particularly big party for the community in Masafer Yatta this evening. These women are dancing in honor of the Adra family, who have just returned from Los Angeles. Their son Basel has just won the Oscar for Best Documentary after his film depicting the village's struggles.
When the film won, it was both a moving and strange moment. We felt a mix of joy and sadness because we were far from our family, our people, in an unknown place where we were setting foot for the first time. It was an immense source of pride for us, as Arabs and Palestinians, to receive such a prestigious award for a film about the suffering of the Palestinian people.
However, for Basel, this is a victory with a bitter aftertaste. The film has been violently criticized by pro-Palestinian movements like BDS calling for a boycott. At issue is the collaboration between Palestinians and Israelis on the project, as co-director Yuval Abraham explains on stage.
We made this film, Palestinians and Israelis, because together our voices are stronger. We see each other. The atrocious destruction of Gaza and its people, which must end. The Israeli hostages, brutally taken in the crime of October 7th, which must be freed.
In Masafer Yatta, the controversy is still fresh in everyone's minds. For a Palestinian, being accused of normalizing relations with Israel is difficult to live with in the community. But Basel Adra stands behind this joint work with the Israeli directors he's known for years.
This movie, we did it in perspective of activism. The last thing in the world I want to normalize the situation. The opposite we want is to change this reality. I'm very sad to see Israelis like ministers and settlements like organizations are against us and pushing hard against us, and BDS as well doing the same thing. It's really sad and bad, even though I have a lot of respect for the BDS and its work and its activists.
Meanwhile, illegal settlements have been spreading in the hills south of Hebron. Tiny outposts have sprung up between Palestinian villages. Parcels of land have been declared military zones and made inaccessible by the Israeli army. Palestinian shepherds suffer daily harassment from the settlers.
Every day there are problems, particularly in the Masafer Yatta region and the villages around Hebron. It's like that day after day.
A unique form of activism has taken shape between Israelis and Palestinians in order to deal with the attacks.
I am volunteering in Masafer Yatta in defensive presence. Basically, if there's a non-Palestinian with Palestinians when they're farming, or is less likely to be violence against them, and if there is, I can film it.
This video was filmed by Basel Adra on the 13th of October 2023. It shows a settler shooting a Palestinian man in the stomach. We met the victim at his home.
There was a soldier with them. Normally, the army should have come between us and told him to back off, but they gave him complete freedom to do as he pleased.
A year and a half after the attack, the settler who shot Zachariah has not faced justice. Zachariah has been unable to work to support his 4 children.
I still haven't recovered 100% feeling here. Maybe in 3 or 4 months' time, in July, the doctors will do another operation. The settlers have changed their behavior since October 7th. Wherever they go, there are problems. It wasn't like this before.
The United Nations says that violence in the region has also pushed more than 300 families to leave their homes since 2023, like here in Zanuta, where the houses in the distance have all been destroyed. The villagers left in a hurry after settler attacks that followed the 7th of October, but the Israeli courts have just granted them the right to return. The military police have cordoned off the area, and Israeli activists have come to accompany the Palestinians. Sam is in charge of taking photos of the settlers' number plates.
To document everything that's happening, to show that the settler harassment has begun and the community isn't even back yet. That's why we're here, to offer our presence to mitigate any sort of harassment or violence from the settlers, and to make sure that, as much as possible, the army and the police and the state follow through on their obligation according to the Israeli court system.
אתה מצב סגור! בשטח פרטי! It doesn't seem to bother. And then he said, I'm allowed to do everything. There is not such a thing like I'm not allowed to go there or there.
I'm the boss, I can do everything.
Yeah.
For this local Palestinian representative, the activist's support is welcome.
This is a decision imposed by the Minister of Defense in the West Bank. The Zanuta area has been declared a closed military zone and is off limits to Israelis, but not to Palestinians. Unfortunately, this decision also targets solidarity activists. We just saw not long ago a settler enter on horseback, another in a car, and nobody, neither the army or the police, said anything to them.
The presence of the peace activists has not been enough today. Residents have decided to postpone their return home in fear of the settlers surrounding their village.